I've got to the stage where I'm marking up and cutting this arch so that I can try and join together as a bit of a lap joint here. I was going to keep on cutting the arch until it fitted the hole that's actually, or the edge of the sill, but there's actually a hole on the sill underneath here, so I'd have to try and cut this to try and fit in there. I'll show you in a minute. I decided in the end that I'll cut the initial bit off. What I'm going to do now is just marked around the actual, on the sill bit here. So I'm now going to try and cut the sill so that the actual arch drops into the gap. So if I try and keep on filming when I take this off, so in particular there's a hole in this area here, and that's what I'm trying to avoid having to cut out correctly on the arch. That bit there, which is obviously actually in here. So the intention now is to try and cut the sill out just inside this green line, maybe a few millimetres, so I can always cut a bit more off, and try and get that to sit lovely in here, and then do the seam weld that way. So wish me luck. Right, I spent the last about 3 quarters of an hour to an hour cutting out the actual side here so it fits better, and when I take this clamp off, this actually sits in here quite nice, so I can get a reasonable good joint in that. So I'm obviously going to try and catch these edges first of all. I'm going to have to be very careful building it up because obviously the metal is quite thin in this area here. Spot welding is a bit the dust, so I was going to sort of spot weld some pieces on the inside of this panel, and then maybe try and do a bit of plug welding as well as the seam welding, so can't do that, so I have to be very careful. This is like sort of very small, effectively stitch welds, just a series of tacks to try and catch it all. You have to let the metal cool down quite a bit. It seems to say the galvanising seems to reduce, I think, the burning temperature of it to a certain degree, but it does actually fit in quite well once that clamps off. As you can see, I've reground this inner edge here of the car, and then obviously put a series of holes in there ready to do a bit of plug welding. And done the same round on the arch around here as well. Again, that does fit in reasonably well initially. As you can see, just that's obviously the new sill and then the new arch. You can get a series of plug welds all the way up where there's good metal. I've made sure I've got a good bit of tin on the inside to catch onto, and obviously I'm going to be doing the same around the top edge there down inside the doorway. So it's now 5 o'clock, the sun is set already, I think, or setting, so I might see if I can get a couple of tacks on here. I've also done the welding on the front outrigger and also at the back as well. I've done the pieces up there, a series of stitches. I may end up deciding to actually fill in the gaps with some proper silicone sealer there to stop any of the water getting in there, because it's clearly going to be quite a bad water trap already. So yeah, see if I can get a couple of little stitch welds on here first of all. Yeah, I nearly jumped a bit too quickly then. I suddenly remembered I had actually given a coating of undersill to this inner arch here, or this back of this piece of the arch, whatever we call it. So I'll give that one coat now, I'll give it another coat maybe tomorrow, and then we go at trying to tack it on. And as you can see, I've already previously given a coat of undersill to the inner sill you've seen before, and obviously the outer sill. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry and come back and attack it in a couple more days' time. Well, it wasn't very easy trying to weld one-handed, because I normally use my left hand just to steady the insulated shaft of the welder at times. But I'm just trying to show you how the plug welds are going. Obviously, spot welders give it a go, so I've just drilled holes on the one side of the arch, cleaned up the other side of the edge that's remaining, and just working my way up, clamping them as tight as I can, get the two pieces nice and close together. I can probably just take a little bit of the tops off of these if I need to, but they're not too proud. It's doing okay. Right, so I'll carry on and get the rest done. I spent about the last hour and a quarter going around doing all the welding, so I managed to get together the sill and obviously the arch. I'm going to go around and now try and just take off as much as I can. Obviously I don't go too much because these bits are very thin. When I tried to take the galvanising off, obviously it made it even thinner, so quite a lot of build I had to put on there to get them to fill the holes up. So I'm expecting a few more that might reappear, so I realise I might have to do some more welding later on. I'm trying to smooth it all out as much as I can, make it a nice uniform, certainly on this edge. Obviously because it looks nice from the door shut. Yeah, tied it all up. Got a few spot welds. I did go a bit over the top really, so I should really have stopped the doing that spot welds about there. It's probably all I needed for the step, but obviously first time doing one of these to this extent I wasn't quite sure, so I just had to weld them in. Again, they're going to get a lick off with the flat wheel. And again, all the way down the inside the arch, you got redone all the plug welding. Caught the bottom edge of here as well, because basically this is too high up, so any holes in here would have missed this, so I just had to weld the step to what is effectively the outer seal. A couple went through as well, so I just had to do a couple of repairs from the other side, so again they're going to get a lick with the flat wheel. Got quite happy with that down there, because although I might be able to get the Dremel in there, I realised I wouldn't be able to do a lot of dressing up on there, so it came out quite well. I just literally was just doing little bits of stitch welding rather than try and get a seam weld, because I knew it would just get too hot locally. And again, I've managed to get a nice bit on the front edge, and I've worked out where all the decent bits of metal were on the remaining inner arch bit, drilled all the holes for the plug welding and managed to sort of get them attached. So again, I'll get a little bit of a touch, but I'll just take the sharp edges off. I won't want to go too far in there, because I don't want that arch pinging off from the skin behind. And again, obviously this bit's covered up by the arch anyway, or by the wing, sorry, but again I managed to get quite a good catch in it all. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm just going to have to break out the flat wheel and the grinder. The Weber's not too good, it's just starting to spit a little bit, so I'll see how much more I can get done before it ruins my day. I've still got to have a go at measuring up, so later on if it does get too wet, I'm going to have a go at measuring up, obviously for that bit of metal there. I've got to take that bit in there, that's the original strip there with the seat fixings on, so I've got to take that in and drill out all the spot welds. Obviously I was going to use a spot weld to reattach them, but I'm now going to do it via plug welding, so I just need to get everything prepped up to maybe hopefully finish it off when it's nice and dry, so I can get all the seat bolt back in, do the wing back on, get this side completely finished before starting on that bit of rot that's around here on the other side. Right, after doing all the finishing and all the welds on the sides, I really go cutting a piece of plate up to go on top of the original, or the doorstep support, as it was originally, because this is there was always a piece there before that formed the actual floor with a step underneath. So I had to go cutting it out, drop the 2 fixing bolts in for the seat the other side, make sure it's sitting in the right location. The holes are already actually in the step, I just not transferring through to the metal plate. Marked them up, chilled them all out, enlarged them a little bit because I got my measurements slightly wrong on my markings. I've just dropped them back in again, make sure all nice and fits. I'm just going to clamp it down, get some tacks on here, and obviously then jack the seat up again in the air and try and go all the way around the plate, and then eventually I've got to put a bit of repair on the front here still. So I've managed to retrieve the captive seat fixings on the piece of this old top that I cut out. It wasn't pretty, but I got them out in the end. I've loosely fit them in here, worked out obviously where they are. I'm going to have to go at plug welding back in again, so just a matter of trying to catch the sides and also on the top as well. Done front and back. I've had to go obviously drilling out the holes and then use a Dremel to get the over sort of the swarf and stuff off the back of these holes, because you can't get it in very else. So now I'm going to bolt it all down and just get the tacks on these ones first of all, and then take the seat back up again and then catch the top ones as well. Well, that went according to plan. Managed to get the welds done so the seat nuts are captured now. It's been a hard day. I'm not even sure what time it is now. Must be about 3:30, so I've been out about 6.5 hours. But pretty good. Obviously sorted out the welds there. Same in there, filled up the hole, or the little dip that was there. Dremel works his magic getting all the excess metal off, so it's certainly good enough for a recovery truck. Same again here. I did blow through a few times here, tried to put a bit more metal in here, actually in the inside, didn't weld onto it, because obviously where I've ground edges down it's very thin. Obviously around the side and the front as well. Cut that piece out. Obviously got it all fitted in with the appropriate places. Done the same with the patching now. I'm going to come out tomorrow and give it a bit of a coat, just of some primer, even though most of the panels are galvanised. Obviously some of it is steel, plus obviously I've ground down some of the coating on the floor, just to protect the welds really. You will be having the van sprayed at some stage, not sure when. So yeah, pretty happy with all that, but it's been a long hard slog. Tomorrow, after doing that, I've got to do that bit on the other side. I apologise in advance for the lighting. Unfortunately the sun's not playing ball, but yesterday, as you might see from the pictures, I ended up sort of grinding this area down, the B-post, blended it in, did the same. I joined together the sill and the arch, come out pretty well, pretty happy with that. So it's only the inside of the door shut, and it's only going to be a recovery truck, but it still looks pretty good. Done the patch inside here, just underneath the matting, probably seen in the pictures. Then I've obviously fitting the original seat fixings out the other one after taking out spot welds. Plug weld it all in. I've had it bolted down already, all lines are okay. It's just the battery's underneath the actual seat, so I've lifted up the seat again after turning the vehicle around because I want to disconnect the battery to be able to do some more welding on the other side. Done all the under sealing. Obviously I've obviously sprayed a bit of primer just on the exposed areas, as I said I would, and undersealed all underneath where it joins the outriggers, bottom of the seat, all the bits I can get into, sort of sealed it all up. Hopefully keep the water out for a few years. Obviously it's galvanised anyway, but it should all help. We put the mud flap on back in the original holes because that was the front section of the inner sill that I left on there, and sort of butt welded and over welded too as well, so that's all gone on nicely. Got the wing back on along with the mirror obviously. Yeah, it's coming out okay. It's taken me quite a few hours. I think we're in the mid 20 hours at the moment from memory, or high 20 hours. But yeah, it's all gone together quite nicely. Smells a little bit of paint, but yeah, it's all done at the moment, and hopefully that'll sort them out for the few years to come. Now I've got to go around and try and tackle the rust on this back of this B pillar here. Not quite sure what we're going to do. He hasn't bought any panels yet. May not do, might be able to fabricate something out. But I'm expecting most of this to be filler. So I might just have to use my fabrication skills to try and get a basic shape there. Maybe put a skimmer fillet over afterwards, unless we want to go the whole hog and cut out the rear section here. But we'll see what happens.